Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's say thanks to our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercies and blessings so we can gather together here without any trouble and obstacle. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be with our best prophet, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the brightness, from Jahiliyah era to the great era light right now. Thirdly, my special thanks I deliver to my lecturer as my motivator, Mr. Faharuddin SIPM Home, who has given me this assignment and so I can deliver my explanation about discourse analysis and English language teaching. And don't forget also my thanks to my friends and my family who always support me in every condition and whom I love. So, I'm Aulia Agusfina from PBIB 2019. Will explain about discourse analysis and English language teaching. To understand that topic, we need to learn about two things first. The first is the concept of English language teaching or ELT, and the second is the relationship between discourse analysis and English language teaching. Both things we must understand about. Start from the first one is the concept of ELT or English language teaching. To understand about the concept of ELT, we must have to know what teaching is, and to know it, at least there are two ways that we can use. The first is virtual way and the second is ritual way. Virtual way, using this way, means to use definition from online dictionaries. In this virtual way, we use online dictionary to know the definition. And the second one the second way is ritual way. Using this way means to observe what those called teachers do in teaching, then to draw out duties and activities done, and finally to create an interpretation of the duties and the activities to vividly describe the meaning of teaching. So, from both of way that I have explained before, we can find the definition of teaching by online dictionary is like, or for example, oxforddictionaries.com and other. At least in virtual way, we use online medium, and from virtual way we can define that teaching is to help students to learn something by imparting knowledge or skills. And from ritual way, we can find the definition by observe how a teacher generally teaches. And from that, we can know that there are 3 points when teaching. Those are: the first is pre-teaching or planning. The second is while teaching or when implementing, and the last or the third is post-teaching or evaluating. So from planning, implementing, and evaluating. So let me explain about the three things. From the first is pre-teaching or planning. Pre-teaching refers to things that teachers do before imparting knowledge to a group of students or planning for teaching. So in this session, teacher make a planning what to teach or before imparting their knowledge to their students. Planning means to make a set of decisions about what to do and how to do something. In pre-teaching, a teacher is usually required to plan two things. It's about planning what to teach or what teaching materials, and the second is planning for how to teach or what teaching methods. So, Let me repeat. In pre-teaching, a teacher is usually required to plan two things. The first is what to teach, and the second is how to teach. Then, in pre-teaching, what teachers should do? To answer that question, just be sure that there are two important things that teachers must do. The first is to identify what to teach, and the second one is to identify how to teach. It's about what to teach. To success in identifying what to teach, the teacher attempts to determine the type of teaching materials that will be used in the classroom. And about how to teach, this refers to the process of identifying the most effective method used for teaching the pre-existing selected materials. So that's about pre-teaching or planning, and the second one is while teaching or implementing. While teaching refers to things that teachers do when imparting knowledge to a group of students. As a teacher, while teaching, the primary goal is to impart knowledge or skill to the learners through explicit instruction by referring to items in the lesson plan such as time allotment, teaching activities or teaching methodology from starting until ending the lesson, supplementary materials, and extra classwork. So in while teaching or implementing, this is like a process when teachers teach or imparting knowledge to students. And the last one is post-teaching or evaluating. Post-teaching refers to things that teachers do after doing the process of imparting knowledge to a group of students, or evaluating teaching. Evaluating means to make a judgment on the effectiveness of teaching. Being effective in this context means that teaching is successful in producing an intended result according to the stipulated course objective. So, from all things, teaching is defined as the process of imparting knowledge or skill to a group of students by applying three main stages. It's like planning the teaching, giving instruction in teaching, and evaluating the teaching outcomes. And finally, if the notion of teaching is broke into the area of teaching English, the English language teaching can be interpreted as the process of imparting skills and knowledge of English to a group of students whose first language is not English. Let me repeat, to a group of students whose first language is not English. So students not use English as the first language. And through the implementation of the main stage like pre-teaching, planning, while teaching, giving instruction, and as well as post-teaching, measuring learning outcomes. So I have explained that from planning, while teaching or giving instruction, or implementation, and the last is learning outcomes or evaluating and measuring learning outcomes. Then move to the second one that we must know to understand the topic about discourse analysis and ELT is the relationship between discourse analysis and English language teaching or ELT. To understand the relationship from both things, we need to learn the trend in ELT or theoretical perspective and the trend of ELT in Indonesia or factual perspective. From the trend in ELT or theoretical perspective, we learn that many English learners could speak grammatically correct English, but fail in speaking naturally intelligible English. Such situation frequently generates pragmatic difficulties or difficulties to understand each other due to unnatural English, which make their interlocutors uncomfortable. And from the trend of ELT in Indonesia or factual perspective, we know that many students of English encounter the same problem as stated in the theory. This happened because the students receive many inputs of English forms, but less in English functions. Let me repeat, this happens because the students receive many inputs of English form, but less in English functions. Teaching English through drilling the rules of grammar and memorizing vocabulary has been the teaching orientation of many English teachers in Indonesia. Then, what the relationship? For the reason, from that perspective of the writer's independent argument, discourse analysis and English language teaching are found to be tightly connected and inseparable. It is obviously seen from an indication that discourse analysis signifies language and language enables discourse analysis. Language is one method of communicating message, while discourse analysis can be used as a tool to disclose message being communicated. In a conclusion, or in simple, the relationship between discourse analysis and language or English language teaching is symbiotic. Yes, symbiotic, in which one will not exist without the others. So, the relationship between discourse analysis and language or English language teaching is symbiotic, in which one will not exist without the other. So, maybe that's all about my explanation and what I know and what I understand about discourse analysis and English language teaching. I hope my explanation in my video can be benefit for us, and I do apologize if I have many mistakes in my video. Thanks for watching, and as I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.